So it's
That's
just
right.
right
That's
that
right.
we start to put in all the colors.
Yeah, the greens, the reds, the whites. Yeah.
One of the main colors of Christmas is green. Green, red, which I'm putting on, and gold. And it's
really?
Yes.
Really?
So you're putting on gold. It's so nice.
I get to get even tomorrow.
All right, welcome. My name is Evelyn Ohiola, and we are super excited to have you on board on the Tuesday edition of Morning Spring. This is where we talk about issues, topical and critical issues in the country and beyond. We get to speak to politicians, policymakers, major stakeholders, you know, in these issues and help you have a broader perspective on things happening. We start with headlines review.
That's right.
Newspaper review, rather, and we move to the conversation. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you for joining us. And by the way, matters arising. We won't just start the program today without talking about the strike of the deal, striking of the deal, rather. The deal that we learned was struck yesterday in Abuja. You know, it seems, it appears, maybe, hopefully, there is an end in sight to the imbroglio happening in Rivers State between the governor, the State House of Assembly, is the Governor Fubara's Oga, that's the FCT minister. We learned the president brokered a peace deal, and then, you know, other parties, there were points that were raised, and, you know, during the peace deal, and 8 resolutions was reached. And, you know, even looking at these, when I saw it last night, one thing came to my mind, and you've always been an advocate of that, and by the way, that's what and how it should be. How about our institutions working?
Yes.
And not just individuals, just playing, for the want of a better word, God in some of these things, you know. Yeah. When I saw these resolutions, maybe, you know, let's just quickly read it out. Directives of the resolution of the political impasse in Rivers State, all matters instituted in the court by governors of Rivers State, Fubara and his team, irrespective of political crisis in Rivers State, shall be withdrawn immediately. For me, maybe that's still fair, but then all impeachment proceedings initiated against the governor of Rivers State by the Rivers State House of Assembly should be dropped. The question is, why was the governor threatened with his impeachment if he has done nothing impeachable?
Exactly.
It speaks to how people can just use the instrumentality of the law to achieve their aim, their, you know, selfish aims. And now the leadership of the Rivers State House of Assembly, as led by Right Honorable Martin Amaule, shall be recognized alongside the 27 members who resigned from the PDP. So what about what the court said, affirming Right Honorable A as the real speaker?
It's not even only about that. I feel this number 3 is going to be contentious for both sides, especially for the pro-Fubara team.
Guys,
because if you're saying that the Right Honorable Martin Amaule should be recognized as the Speaker of the House alongside the 27 members, then what happens to the law, to the Constitution that says that once you defect from Party A to Party B, and
you lose your mandate,
you know, you lose that seat
without cogent reason,
except there is a division in that party at the national level. Obviously, lots of lawyers have been speaking, legal practitioners have been speaking to this issue, and they have said time and time again that those lawmakers are now former lawmakers according to the Constitution. So if the truce by the president and you know, the two warring parties will just push aside the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and we just move on as if nothing happened, then it speaks to our weak institutions.
And undo whenever we feel, because somebody up there has told everybody, you can go back, you guys, you can come back to whatever you have been doing. And still talking about the Constitution is the first point that I raised. A court of competent jurisdiction has affirmed Austin A as Honorable A as the Speaker of the House of Assembly of Rivers State. Now, that order, either good or bad, has not been vacated. Now, does the word of the president supersede that of the court? That's another thing. I mean, the court can say a thing, The president can stay there in Abuja with the two factions to say, you know what, let the court words be set aside, and there is not another order that has vacated the previous one that said Mr. A is the governor. I mean, is the River State speaker. Now, moving on, number 4, the remunerations and benefits of all members of the River State of Assembly and their staff must be restated immediately, and the governor of River State shall henceforth not interfere in the full funding of the River State House of Assembly. By the way, they are supposed to be, independence of the arms of government. I wonder why governors have access, to the funds of the State House of Assembly. But the thing is, that autonomy signed by Mr. Buhari before he left hasn't been fully implemented in most states. And many persons say it's because of what governor stands to gain in all of this, so that, whenever the State House of Assembly is not doing their bidding, they have a way of, pulling the strings. Fair enough. The River State House of Assembly shall choose where they want to sit and conduct their legislative business without interference and or hindrance from the executive arm of the government. That's 5. 6. Governor of River State, Fubara, shall represent the state budget. Interesting. To a properly constituted River State House of Assembly. So the previous one was improper. So what constitutes a proper one now? Maybe when the number is complete again, he will represent. So what happens to the presentation he has done?
It's not just even the presentation.
Yeah.
We're talking about this appropriation bill has been passed into law.
Yeah.
It is now an appropriation act.
According to these resolutions, that stands null and void.
So is it that this
because
the
president has said
state,
so.
like River State is now a toy.
Obviously.
That anyone can just play with. We do this, we undo it. We do this, we undo this. I mean, it's just
at will.
It's just amusing. I find this funny.
Sometimes you just look at, so where are the institutions? Where's our law? Many interesting one. The names of all commissioners in the River State Executive Council who resigned their appointment because of the political crisis in the state should be resubmitted to the House of Assembly for approval. This is turning to a circus, really. Like, this is just some, like, one comedy somewhere that you are seeing. Somebody says no more working with the government. Now, this rule says they should be reabsorbed, the name sent back to the House of Assembly, the same House of Assembly, and then they should be, So, will the governor really trust those people?
Exactly. That's another question.
Will he ever trust those people, knowing what they stand for and who they stand for? Now, number 8, there should not be a caretaker committee for the local government. In River State, the dissolution of the local government administration is null and void and shall not be recognized. These are some of the points. As the days go by, we tend to interrogate these and see what this means. Many social commentators and lawyers, just like she said, has been speaking on these. And this resolution was agreed and signed by Fubara himself. The signature is there. Ngozi Odu, the deputy governor. Adron Chukwuemeka, PDP chairman. Right Honorable Martin Chike, the River State, Amaule, River State House of Assembly Speaker, right, many persons, Tony Okocha, that's Kiama APC River State, Yeson Wike, the FCT governor, minister now, and Malam Nuri Badu, the NSA. These are persons.
One thing that is worthy of note here is that Right Honorable Martin here is not in this, or was not rather, this meeting, and of course, his signature is not here.
That means it's not a party.
But then one thing about politicians is that they say one thing, and the next minute they're saying another thing. So we may want to actually fold our hands to see whether this agreement will be upheld, and everyone will sheath their sword and go back to how things used to be.
That's right.
But the thing is, with this resolution, this 8-point resolution, I feel it's tilting towards one side. But
what side would that be?
I don't want to go.
No, let me put you on the spot. What side would that be?
Number 3 speaks to it all. Number 3, the leadership of the River State House of Assembly, as led by Right Honorable Martin Amawule, shall be recognized alongside the 27 members who resigned from the PDP.
It's obvious.
Exactly.
And then we have seen many resolutions that have been agreed, even at the Ondo State, with the Ondo State issues, that it didn't get really to play out as these things has gone. But what you have noted again, as we go to the headlines right now, is the fact that an APC president is brokering a deal with PDP governor PDP state, at least with what we know, with FCT minister that we can't really say where he is right now, but officially he's still a PDP member. And then you get to wonder, this resolution was signed by the PDP chairman in Rivers State and the PDP APC chairman in Rivers State as well. And it becomes very interesting. But many who knows the FCT minister for what he is are saying, is he really going to back down? Because this resolution says it all. What kind of governor will Governor Siminala Ifubara be with this resolution? Just looking at the spirit behind this.
And you should also, before we move to the headlines, you should also note that this issue has gone beyond the government house, the House of Assembly. It's now with the people.
Yeah.
If you remember what Mrs. Boma Goodhead actually said and the allegations she put forward against former Governor Nyesom Wike, now Minister of FCT, you know that it is past the government house and House of Assembly and now with the people. So if the governor can speak to his people to calm down and the FCT minister also speak to his people to calm down, maybe would have peace. But some people may have taken this issue past beyond what we are saying it to be.
All right, interesting days are ahead, but we just sincerely hope this will put pay to these imbroglio and let governors really begin and let the people enjoy the dividend of democracy right there in Rivers State and all across the country as well. We'll go on this short break. When we return, the head straight to the papers. This Morning Spring on Western Spring Television.
Welcome back. This is the newspaper review on Morning Spring. We head straight to the paper, starting with the Punch newspaper for today. National Assembly may pass budget on Saturday. 541 MDAs and defense. With double riders here. Senate reps to harmonize appropriation bill. Saturday for passage. This is according to Senate spokesperson. And committee submitting reports. January to December budget cycle will be sustained, says committee chair. And Tinubu to review policies affecting newspaper industry. Editors launch trust fund. That's good news there. Away from that, 800 billion naira illicit drugs seized. 42,105 offenders nabbed, according to Marwa. And husband kills wife over food in Lagos. Food in Lagos, taking us back to the days of Esau and Jacob. But then, away from that, 2 killed as fire raises late Alawa Kala's residence. And let's move to the top corner of the Punch newspaper this morning. Fubara, Wike reached truce as Tinubu intervenes again. And of course, Femi and I discussed that earlier on the show. Lagos government congratulates Punch on NMMA awards. Congratulations to Punch. They have been doing such a wonderful job over the years. And lastly, outside of the country, which actually affects the entire world, Pope Francis okays blessings for same-sex couples. Femi, this is a controversial issue, and I'm sure it's going to raise a whole lot of dust moving forward, because the Pope supporting same-sex marriage and also saying that priests can go ahead to bless such union. I mean, it speaks a lot, and like I said, there will be a lot of controversy just from this particular story. But that will be all for the Punch newspaper.
All right, from the Punch, we head straight to the Nation for today. Today, Tuesday, December 19th, 2023. The Nation, of course, expectedly so. The story from Abuja and Port Harcourt is what will dominate the headlines. Fubara Wike strike deal with Rider. Warring camps sign 8-point agreement after presidential intervention. All right, we read some of the resolutions to you earlier. And President pledges ease of doing newspaper business. NPAN leaders at Aso Villa. Let it just not be about ease of doing newspaper business. Let it be extended to ease of doing business generally, either micro, medium, or large scale. Now you have the picture there of the president flanked by the big guns, you know, talking about newspaper business and a veteran journalist as well in that picture. All right, moving on. INEC fixes by-elections into Senate, House, others for February. And Catholic Church okays blessing for same-sex couples. Right, a budget 2024. By the way, before we leave that point, in Nigeria, same-sex either union or whatever is still illegal. Yeah. I think that's sacrosanct to say. Budget 2024. Committees ordered to submit reports. And Benin, Niger, Togo, all Nigeria $11.16 million electricity bill. Benin, Niger, Togo, all Nigeria $11.16 million electricity bill. Okay, guys, please pay up. We need all the money that we can get right now in Nigeria. And 2 die in Alawa Kala's house fire. Ministry canvasses Soul Day celebration. What does that mean? We get the paper and open to page 27. And perform or be fired. Tinubu tells NNPCL board. And treat Niger Delta with better care. Treat Niger Delta with better care. Perform or be fired. Tinubu tells NNPC board. We hope that they will really, perform. And before we leave, let me go back to where I started. Fubara Wiki strike deal. And by the way, it caused a question, Evelyn, where when other things were raging on, especially in the last 1 or 2 weeks, where has been that party, the PDP? Because that's one thing many persons have been asking, do they still exist? You know,
in the state or nationally?
Even nationally, substantially. I know they have not been disbanded, but what has been their effect on these Fubara Wiki matter? It seems the man has been left in the cold to fight his battle by himself.
But of course, we had the statement from the People's Democratic Party signed by the Publicity Secretary, Debo Logwagba, reacting, especially when 27 members of the House of Assembly defected to the APC, reacted to it and also calling on INEC to declare their seat vacant. So we had that statement from the Publicity Secretary. Exactly. But then a lot of people also have been asking about the PDP governors in the country.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Where does their support lie?
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people are trying not to just meddle, to be meddlesome in this issue, because
is there a party member?
Is there a party and also
but then the kind of PDP in River State is kind of PDP that you can't even say if it is really PDP or some kind of PDP because of what transpired at the last election. Everybody knew who they were. Nationally, or the PDP, most of them in River State work for the APC nationally. And so their leader then, Governor Wike, former Governor Wike, is now working with the government of the APC. So at times one cannot really pinpoint where the PDP in River State lies and the governor himself. But it appears officially he is a PDP governor. All the best to him.
Wiki at this point is like what Isaac said the other time in the Bible, that the voice is the voice of Esau, but the body is the body of Jacob. So
as Evelyn 2023. All right, that will be all from the front page of The Nation.
All right, we move to the Guardian newspaper for this morning, and of course we have some data and statistics right here on the Guardian newspaper. Attached to this particular headline, Nigerians may burn over 1.5 trillion naira on cooking gas in 2024 amid incentives. And we have figures right here on the Guardian newspaper for today. It says 1.5 trillion naira Nigerians spend 1.5 trillion naira on cooking using gas, and price of cooking gas has risen by 165% since 2018. And we have other ones here. Currently, consumption stands at 1.4 million tons yearly, and 10.5 billion naira VAT waivers yearly, and 800,000 tons of cooking gas imported yearly. And we've got the local production and also average price of 1 kg of LPG. In 2018, we had it at 416 naira. But right now in 2023, 1,100 naira. That's well over 150% increase there. Away from that, Nigeria's delegation to COP28 insensitive to economic reality. That's an editorial on page 12. And 3.5 billion naira debt, court freezes for your government's account in 10 banks. Irrigation agriculture experts recommend new land administration method. Energia Oando JV Commission multi-billion naira projects in Delta. And Senate gives panels 48 hours to submit 2024 budget reports. INEC plans reruns by elections for February 2024. And Tinubu brokers truce as Febara Wike signed peace agreement. Tinubu meets newspaper proprietors, promises press freedom, others. And LCCI raises concern on inflation crisis, charges CBN on new approach. Like we all know, inflation right now is about 28%.
Yeah.
And it's really alarming. And we hope the CBN and other agencies can be on top of this matter. That will be all for the Guardian.
All right, we head straight to the Nigerian Tribune. The Nigerian Tribune for today, and it reads how presidency brokered truce between Fubara and Wike, with rider Shatima, Gbajabiamila, Ribadu, or Dili in attendance. Okay. We hope issues that has to do with the people like these two will be given this kind of attention whenever it arises. Not just a political settlement or, political expediency, as it were. When it has to do with the people, we hope it will be given this kind of swift response. And then Nigerians will get to enjoy that they have leadership at all levels: health, education, security, economy, agriculture, these critical sectors of our life. Whenever these issues arise, we hope to see these leaders across board, irrespective of party affiliations, come together to do something very, very urgent and absolute on these issues. Because that's one thing that we should take away there. When politics is involved now, and many persons are talking, these are big guns. The president, Fubara himself, former Governor Wike, Shatima, that's Vice President, Gbajabiamila, the Chief of Staff, Ribadu, that's the NSA, Odili, former Governor of River State, among many others, sat down to speak to this one issue between these two people. But then 200 million Nigerians, whenever our own interest is to be protected, we hope we get to see them act so swiftly as well. Moving on, INEC may hold by-elections and rerun in February. Adamawa Appeal Court opposed Finteri's election, fines Binani 1 million naira. Of course, it was quite something of a controversy there, especially what happened in Adamawa during the governorship election there, especially the way there was an announcement made by somebody who wasn't supposed to do that, part of INEC, who is in court, by the way. And moving on, Tinubu threatens to sack NNPC board if, we read that earlier, and the if is if they fail to perform or be sacked. 3,963 teachers failed professional qualifying exams, ERCN. We get to talk about that in the course of our conversation today. Fire got Alawakala's residence, as former governor of your state. who's late now, Christopher Alawakala's residence, been caught by fire, and the newspaper even reported that 2 lives were lost. Sad one there. EFCC declaring Agunloye wanted, a joke. That's coming from the Nobel laureate Wole Soyinka. Why EFCC is declaring Agunloye wanted being a joke, according to Professor Soyinka. Oh, it's just written Soyinka here, so don't let me preempt if it's Wole Soyinka or another Soyinka. That can be found on page 8. And moving on, Tinubu to NPAN newspaper. I think practitioners or producers or something. NPAN. I will consider paper industry policy review. Okay, NGE to launch trust funds on media sustainability and professionalism. NGE is in Nigeria Guild of Editors. Right, the pictures of the NPAN paying the president a visit. The picture is here. Please, I can see Nduka Obagbina, the chairman of this day, and of course the president himself, Aremo Olusegun Oshoba, who is a veteran journalist himself and former governor of Ogun State, among many other people. Top strip. Pope Francis opens possibility of blessings of same-sex couple. Okay, this is another angle now, talking about possibility here. Pope Francis opens possibility of blessing of same-sex couples, and UBA secures $175 million facility from AFDB towards supporting private sector infrastructure development. One would mind to say this facility being talked about, is it a grant, is it a loan? And now, ordinarily one would think, why should a bank be going for a loan, a bank? As it is what it is. Many things to really talk about here. And the agreement reached at that meeting, brokered by the president, or the presidency rather, between Fubara and Wike is here. Let me read it out again. Impeachment proceedings against Fubara should stop. 2, all matters instituted in court by Rivers governor, his team should be withdrawn immediately. And the leadership of Rivers Assembly, led by Amaule, should be recognized along with 27 lawmakers who defected. Fubara must represent state budget to a properly constituted House of Assembly. Emphasis on the word properly constituted House of Assembly. Names of all commissioners who resign should be resubmitted to Assembly for approval. By the way, even talking about, these are the people who said they resigned. Many of them cited personal reasons. They cited and even appreciated the governor for the opportunity to serve.
The personal reason is with the crisis.
Some of them say for principle's sake, they opted out. So what happened to that personal reason again? And the principle they talked about, some of them talked about. I mean,
probably, I'm not saying that this is definitely, probably is the principle of loyalty. I believe this person helped me to where I am today, so it will not just sit right if I do not stand with him
having issues
at this particular time.
Stand with the other person.
So they had to just, stay somewhere. They had to make bold their statement of where they actually stand. So it might just be the principle of loyalty.
So when these kind of people, I mean, these commissioners now, and across board in other states as well, come to say, we are here to serve you, the people, how will you look at them?
Are
they still serving the people?
For commissioners and ministers, these appointments, they were not.
That's what some of them say. His appointment, by the way,
they were not voted into office by the people. So I really do not have anything against
even they call it service. So for some of them, when you see them, when you talk to them, they say it's service to the people.
Yes, it is. It's just what we are doing here. We are serving the people. But if I feel I want to leave.
You have a personal reason.
I want to leave right now.
Better don't go that way. Interesting one.
It's you not like the people actually voted them into office. The people voted the governor into office. The governor brought them on board to help him with this job. So if they felt, okay, we cannot work in this environment anymore, it's too toxic, it's too tense, they can leave.
Okay, so once they come back, that environment will cease to be toxic, will cease to be tense.
With this truth.
By the way, we even learned when that issue was very hot, I think there was one of these elders in River State who came to say, in fact, Governor Fubara wanted to resign, and it was they, the elders, who prevailed on him not to resign. You know, many things were said. The dissolution of local government administration is null and void. I wonder why governors will have the temerity to always do that, to mess with the local government arrangement and, you know, just install their prodigies, the boys, to just eat something, because that's the way it is in most places.
You know, there was a debate recently in the Senate floor where one of the lawmakers actually brought the issue up and also proposing that the local government election should be handled by the National Electoral Body, which is INEC. It should be like what we have with the state and the national elections, where it is for a stipulated time. You know, by February, so we are supposed to have local government election. It should, the power should be taken off the state and given to the national. We don't know what that will actually portend.
A kind of Achillean task for INEC, because they have to organize in so many wards, so many, you know, talking about the 774 local government areas we have in Nigeria. And remuneration and benefit of all leaders of assembly and staff must be reinstated immediately. Even now, this is where people will say, what happened to the principle of no work, no pay? You know, the one they usually brandish on ASU and NMA and the Labour Party way, but this is River State. Now, finally, governors should not interfere with the funding of assembly. They should not. No governor should party way. That will be all from the front page of the Nigerian Tribune for today, and that is where we put the brakes on the segment, and then we'll go to the conversation of the day. The conversation today is, it's about what was reported, and we have even read it this morning, about the fact that 3,963 teachers failed professional qualifying exams, and that's coming from the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria. Now, when teachers who are supposed to be custodial in a kind of way, you know, or a beacon of knowledge, fails exams, many persons wonder, so what do they have to offer the students in which, or the pupils in which they are expected to transfer knowledge to, you know, what becomes, because these are teachers, some of them who have been teaching before, who just want that regulation, that certificate, because they must be, you know, professionals, as we have the NMA conducting exams, the Society of Engineers, many of them, the law school. The TRCN is there is the regulatory body for teaching profession in Nigeria. And they're saying 3,000 or 4,000 teachers failed professional qualifying exams. So what becomes of those that are failed? We look at the teaching profession, how regulated is that sector as well. Many things to really talk about, and we'll be joined by a critical stakeholder on that. Please stay with us. It's still Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. Let's remind you that we're live on our YouTube channel right now, Western Spring Television, and you can follow us on all our social media platforms on X and Facebook. You have the address pulling on your screen as well. We'll be right back after this break. Don't go nowhere.
Arrested, affected, sound, found. What do we see? What do we say? Flowing from a spring. A fact A to Z. Check and confirm. Ever expounding current events. Traveling down from the business gist to the globally arising happenings, to the sports news, to the bittersweet infos. Guided transmission, even diffusion, vast and fast, detailed facts are fled. Within seconds, nuggets of words that flew across borders are fired. Stories short and long, wrapped in bundles of words, broken and dissected as it is, except misheard. This is the news as it is.
Up to 75% of human infectious diseases originates in animals. And as more bushmeat is brought into our cities, the risk of human infectious disease outbreaks increases. Ebola, monkeypox, Lassa fever, yellow fever, and even COVID-19 may have been transmitted in this way. Illegal bushmeat trade not only endangers our wildlife, but affects our health and may damage our economy. So please, say no to illegal bushmeat. Keep them wild and keep us safe.
All right, you're welcome back. And just like I said before we went on that break, the conversation is about the noble profession of teaching. Of course, the teaching, teachers, lecturers in high institutions, secondary schools, primary schools, institutions of learning. The teaching profession, in a kind of way, many persons believe have not been given that. All right, I've not been given that, pride of place, to really get, as we say around here, its flowers, to really get its accolade, teaching profession, because they are the one who instill this knowledge in every critical sectors, making people professionals, and we learned, that's coming from the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria, that the professional qualifying examination for teachers across the country, organized by the TRCN, the November 2023 diet of that exam, that no fewer than 3,963 teachers, almost 4,000, who sat for the November 2023 diet failed, and the examination is conducted by that council to test the professional knowledge of those in the teaching profession. Speaking with journalists during an interactive session on Monday, the registrar of the council, Professor Josiah Ajiboye, who gave the breakdown, said that the council will continue to work towards the improvement of the teaching profession in Nigeria, and that a total of 15,753 sat the examination in 30 centers across the country, and out of these, we have 10,636 that passed, which is about 72.9%, and those that failed are 3,963. And Ajiboye noted that other candidates were absent, while others had results cancelled due to examination malpractices. And that's why we're having that conversation about the teaching profession this morning. Some of these guys, almost 4,000, who failed, and even some that were said to have been involved in examination malpractice. So this morning we have been joined by somebody who has been in that sector for long. Even administratively, he has been in charge at some point, and I'm talking about Comrade Wakil Alade Amuda. He's the former chairman of Nigerian Union of Teachers, NUT, in Osun State. Comrade, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you. How you been? Can you hear us? Comrade, can you hear me?
Well, I can hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
All right. Thank you very much. How have you been? All right. Can you hear me still?
It is not loud. I can hear you on the background.
Okay. We'll try our technical team. Will try and work on that. Now, you heard what I read. Almost 4,000 teachers failed the November 2023 diet of the professional exams conducted by the regulatory body, that's the TRCN. And many persons are wondering, why will people who are supposed to instill knowledge in pupils and students be failing? What's your take on that?
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
I say good morning to every one of you in the studio.
Thank you.
As as far as I'm concerned, TLCN is a body set up to regulate the conduct of teachers professionally, and is yet to take its full responsibility. Since we started the program, our man in charge, experienced man, Professor Ajiboye, is trying his best. He's working assiduously for the council and to lead the teachers up. So I appreciate our professor. But you know, when you establish a new council like that, it will be very new to some of us. And since it's an establishment, our teachers have been trying their best to register with the council. When the figure released, if it is from the prof, it's an authentic figure. In some parts of the country, some of the teachers that sat for the exam may not understand the computer-based tests. You know, TLCN is not just ordinary writing. It involves computer-based tests. And in some parts of the country, maybe this may happen. But in our own system here, because I do follow the statistics and the percentage of teachers that took it and passed, we have a very high number here in some of our states. You know, this TLCN exam is not an exam being sent for our teachers when they were in school, because they have their certificates. And they have gone through several lecturers and they passed the exam before they took the employments. So it may be, maybe some of them were not trained in computer. So that may be the first reason. So, and the coverage of the examination is maybe so many of them don't have the curriculum or the curriculum or the guidelines that will make them to pass the exam. And on the whole, I want to submit that most of the experienced teachers, they pass this exam at once. So it's only the council that can give us the background of those teachers that fail the exam.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. Good to note. But, comrade, you, in a kind of way, you have blamed maybe the CBT, computer-based test, that did harm to those people. And one will want to wonder which person, which teacher wouldn't know how to handle, CBT exams in 2023, by the way, because this is the in thing. This is what has been obtainable for like a couple of years now. Even very young guys, going for JAM, going for other exams, have these things in their mind that this is the way it's going to be? And what kind of teachers, what kind of knowledge will that kind of teacher be? The one that can't operate or, sit for exams through CBT? What kind of knowledge? Wouldn't that be an archaic type of knowledge that such teacher will be able to pass to the students or the pupils, by the way? So blaming the CBT, many persons will see it as too convenient, number one. And then you raised a point that maybe it's a part of the country that produced most of those people that failed. So I'd like you to clarify the CBT thing. Which part of the country are you referring to?
Thank you very much. When I say majority of them may not understand the computer system, even not just alone, we are talking of computer age. Some of our people were not computer literate to that extent. We cannot compare them with our students in various institutions. They have to go and learn it. And majority of our teachers, maybe, for instance, in Osun State, they have learned this thing. But in some states, you still find some not teachers alone that are yet to be computer literate efficiently and effectively. I use that word. So, like I told you, I'm from Osun State. And every time they do this exam, I normally supervise. And then when the result comes out, I consult. What's the percentage? And every time I'm impressed. So if our activities in the DRC are known by our professor, by Professor Ajiboye, what I'm trying to say, some states are yet to train their teachers on this computer program. And I don't know the type of teachers that fail the exam. Maybe, as your second question, maybe, the council has been able to extend this thing to our various higher institutions. Maybe we have some teachers in the private school. We have some teachers in private school taking this exam. We have our students. We have undergraduates taking this exam. We have government teachers. Public schools taking this exam. So we will not be able to differentiate the number of failures from each sectors.
All right.
It is not what they did there that they were teaching the students in the class. So it is separate curriculum, syllabus for our TRCN exam. That's what I mean.
Okay.
It doesn't reflect on the quality of teachers in their various schools. Failing TRCN exam doesn't mean that a teacher is not performing.
Really?
All right, Comrade Amuda.
I think you can understand me.
Yes, we do understand you, Comrade.
Hello?
We do understand you, Comrade. Can you hear us clearly?
Yes, hello?
Yes, we can hear you. We want to know if you can hear us clearly.
I can now hear you.
All right, thank you so much. So what you're saying now, Comrade Amuda, is that this is no case for, there is no cause rather for alarm with what we are seeing of 3,963 teachers failing this professional qualifying examination by the TRC. And by the way, it says here that 10,636 passed. That's about 75% passed. Are you saying that there is no cause for alarm?
I want to convince you, I want to let you understand that not all the people that took after exam passed the exam, and they are various accountants in various areas.
Okay.
So, if teachers can fail TRC exam, it doesn't mean that it's not performing. I think you can get me.
Yes, we can. So you're telling us the TRC...
You can get my point.
The TRC exam is just like the ICANN exam that we have for accountants. The fact that some fail the ICANN exam doesn't mean that they are not doing well on their job as accountants. Is that...
Well, they are not chartered if they fail.
What you're saying?
You see, the various professional exam, we cannot have 100%. So we continue to build up with the figure release by the council now. So I know that there is going to be a kind of improvement from our teacher in the next before the next exam. I mean, those people that failed, and the professor can confirm what I'm saying, because he normally goes around do this exam. So maybe the reason I said that time may cause it, but it doesn't mean that it is what happened in TRC can be used to determine the effectiveness of our teachers in our various schools.
Okay,
so
comrade,
that's my submission.
Allow me to butt in here. I'm happy that you you're really trying to speak up for the teachers, but some Nigerians may not be on the same page with you, because some Nigerians feel that the quality of teachers that we have now, especially in our primary school, which is actually the basic form of education, is nothing to write home about. You remember in the year 2017, I think it was in Kaduna, when Governor El Rufai gave some teachers primary 4 exams, like the exams that they give to their pupils to write. A whole lot of them failed. In fact, in their 1,000, about 21,700 teachers failed that exam. And some Nigerians will tell you that that is just because Governor El Rufai took that initiative to do so. I think we had something like that also during the time of Governor Shiomole, where the teachers failed the exams that the students write. Like, they give the exams to their students to write, and they failed that same examination. And people have come out to say, if we do this, if we conduct this same routine in all the states in Nigeria, we may likely have that.
Thank you very much. As we were saying, maybe what we were talking of El Rufai, former governor of Kaduna State, and that of Usomele. In that of Comrade Usomele, our leader, how many teachers were interviewed that day? Because I understand that it was few teachers that was interviewed. And that of the Kaduna episode, you know, where it was reviewed, some were called back. Some were called back. Now, what I'm trying to say is that we know the general challenges we're having. And I want to appreciate some of our legislators, because I don't want to mention names here. For instance, in our state, we have series of programs for our teachers, wherein Honorable trained some teachers and give them computer machine so that they'll be able to use it in their various schools to train their children. In some states, these were not available. So when I'm telling you this, I'm talking from the grassroots.
Yeah.
State rivers to states. We have different programs by our government, by our leaders in different states. So in the light of this, I still maintain my stand that it's not what they search for with the child saying that they teach their children in the school.
Okay.
We have different schools, even public schools, that perform excellently well in their various in their examination, in their terminal examination like WAEC and NECO. So this does not mean that failing child exam means they are not qualified.
Okay.
For instance, in other states, before you can become a teacher, after taking the exam, after taking the form, you will still sit for exam. After exam, you sit for serious interview. After that, you will still do Bible teaching before you are given employment. So these are part of what we are taught in the school and how to apply it. So not that they employ unqualified teachers. That's my solution.
All right, comrade, we are having this conversation from the standpoint of the decline in quality of manpower available in the teaching profession, because very soon we'll get to that point. But then you made mention of different professions having, professional exams for would-be professionals in that field. My colleague mentioned the example of the ICANN, being the regulatory body for accountants in Nigeria, the Society of Engineers doing that for would-be engineers as well, the NMA for medical students, and the rest of it. Then anybody that, get through that particular exams of those professions, by the way, is termed to be for ICANN now, you call the person a chartered accountant. That means the person is professional, really professional, in that particular field. Now, let me ask you, what is the implication of taking this TRCN exam? Because you are saying the fact that those people, almost 4,000 have failed, doesn't mean they can't impact knowledge in students or pupils in their areas, but that doesn't make them professionals. So let me ask you, you have the experience, you have been in this field for decades. So tell us, what is the usefulness of taking the TRCN exam? What does it do to any person that passes that exam?
And because of my, when we start this discussion,
yes,
I said something about TRCN and activities of our erudite Professor Adewale. You see, Rome was not built in a day. This TRCN is our own body that will be regulating us. But at the commencement of the program, you see, when a program is new, majority of us will not understand what it means. TRCN, taking TRCN exam and pass, another decade, and have license to renew every year. making us to be professional. Apart from the certificate we have.
Sorry, comrade.
Not just ordinary person.
Comrade, sir, is it the TRCN? Comrade, sir, is it the TRCN body, Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria, that you are referring to as being new for the exam? Because according to figures that we have, the TRCN was established in 1993, and that's almost, you know, that's how many years ago? 30 years ago now. So it's not entirely new.
And the taking off of the program.
Okay.
This is 1983. You see, that's what I'm saying. So this started in 1983. You see, when this thing started, it was new to majority of us. They don't even know that there's what you call TRCA. But with the orientation and the performance of the council, it has been known to every teachers now. We as a union, we knew what we did to give orientation to our teachers until RCA. Now, some of the duties of our council is just to make us professional teachers. You see, during the time of this 65 years, 40 years in service, they contributed immensely for the success of the program. Both the council and the union joined together to achieve this. There are some policies being done by TRCN to support NUT so that this thing will come to reality. There are packages which TRCN, in conjunction with the NUT, joined together to make the success of this program. So, in the nearest future, I know that in the nearest future, there's going to be a strong professionalization being done by our TRCN.
Okay.
So that's what I mean.
All right, Comrade Amada, let's move away from that and let's focus on the challenges bedeviling the teaching profession in Nigeria. There was a time if you asked a child what he would like to be, he or she would like to be in the future, some of them still proudly say, I want to be a teacher. But nowadays, it seems like our little ones just shy away from the teaching profession because they feel it's not adequately rewarding. We know the normal saying that a teacher's reward is in heaven, but some people have turned that around to say actually that a teacher's reward is both here on earth and in heaven. But as a country, do you think we are doing everything possible, especially from the part of the government, to adequately motivate our teachers, to adequately reward our teachers for what they are doing? That's one part. The second part is the quality of students that we produce in the primary and secondary level at this time, especially in public institutions. Sometimes there's nothing to write home about, and there's this saying that an apple does not fall far from its tree. Does this actually point to the fact that they are an offshoot of the people that impart them with knowledge? Because they say it's garbage in, garbage out. You can't give what you don't have. So it is what the teachers pass on to them that they have. I'll just like to get your thoughts on that.
Thank you, Magister. You are going to another area.
Yes.
That if you start from morning, we won't finish the evening. Teachers, they are trying their best. And we know the quality of a student being passed to us. Government is trying their best. Parents is trying their best. Community is trying their best. You know, teachers alone cannot train students. We have the parents, we have the community, we have government, we have teachers, we we have students itself. The quality of things in our schools these days is nothing to write home about. Teachers manage with everything. You cannot compare public school with private school. Some community.
Hello, comrade.
Okay, I think we lost that connection. We'll try and reconnect again. Technology can really be funny at times, but I think we'll try and reconnect on that. This part that we get to is where we get to talk about the decline in the standard. And good, when you said the apple most times doesn't fall too far away from its tree. Maybe this kind of product that we are having is as a result of poor teaching habit, or as a result of teachers that are not motivated. It was going to answer that, by the way. We'll try and reconnect so that we don't preempt what he is trying to say. The teaching profession, by the way, I almost giggled when you said teachers' rewards are in heaven, but that should be in the 90s.
That was back there.
Yeah, because these days
teachers want their reward here on earth.
Of course, and some of them are having it already.
Yeah, and I think they should be given their flowers right here on earth.
All right. Comrade, can you hear us?
As I was saying.
All right, please go ahead.
Can I move?
Go ahead, please.
Hello.
Please go ahead, sir.
As I was saying, there has never been any government that condemn our teachers, because it is what is happening these days. Look at some schools on stage. Look at the building, the environment we are teaching these students. Look at what parents is given to their words. You see, I know in some primary school, it is some teachers that will still teach some students because of the class of the parents. And the attitude of students to learn these days. So, in some communities, they join hands with the school to develop the school. And when there is a good environment, children will learn. But teachers will still manage everything for the success of the student. Our own reward is a long term. Before you can assess a teacher, it's not a short-term program. So let our government provide what private schools provide in their school, and they provide it in our various schools, and see the resources. And teachers' improvement, welfare, should be adequately looked into. So we have various factors, and we are still managing these resources to the fullest. And you see our children coming out the colors. We have our children in various institutions with various courses. So it is not the fault of teachers that maybe the teachers are performing low. That's why we are having low results at the end of the program.
All right.
You cannot compare this day with this one. And there's some governments that are trying their best to. Some state governments, they are trying their best. But we still employ them to put more efforts.
Okay.
Because teachers build nation.
Yeah.
So education build nation. Without teachers, that can build nation.
All right, Comrade Ramuja, good that you have spoken to the fact that the issues around education is multifaceted. But, you know, earlier in the year, I think around June, July, the national president of the Nigerian Union of Teachers, that's Comrade Titles Amba, lamented that teachers, you know, were leaving the service in many states and they are not being replaced, while the quality of the teaching was fast declining. That's what the national president of the NUT said, and he raised that alarm. And many persons are saying this alarm is not even new and is very obvious. Now, let me read out something. The Universal Basic Education Commission, that's UBEC, revealed on his website that in Nigeria, we have, or Nigeria had rather, 47 million students. Now, 171,027 schools and 1.68 million teachers. Now, 47 million students, 1.68 million teachers. That's according to UBEC now. And his 2022 National Personnel Audit Breakdown showed that there were 354,651 teachers for 7.2 million students. That's in pre-primary schools, and 915,000 teachers for 32 million students in primary schools, and 416,291 teachers for 8 million students in the junior secondary schools. And the number of registered teachers, now talking about the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria database by 2023 was 2.3 million. That's from the website, you know, from the TRCN itself, saying they have 2.3 million teachers. So speak to this. This is sharp decline, you know, over the years, and it is not enough. If TRCN is saying from their own end, they only have 2.3 million, you know, teachers registered with them, and then we are having 47 million students. Isn't that an anomaly? It doesn't match up. 2.3 million teachers from the TRCN to 47 million, you know, students. Comrade, how do you explain this?
Yes, thanks very much. The point raised by my president is true.
Okay.
That's one of the problems we are facing in our various schools now. You know, we are talking of unemployment and employment. Government, various states, didn't employ enough teachers in our schools. You see, I talk of community solution the other time, PTA, Parent Teachers Association. The PTA still in some schools, they employ teachers to supplement the one being provided by the government. It's true that teachers were not enough in schools as far as I'm concerned, as far as my president and the Prof said. We all know this. So we normally, in our various programs, with our government officials, we normally told them that we are lacking, we don't have sufficient teachers in our school. You know, we don't know what is happening these days. In those days, when we took up these appointments, that it wasn't stressful like this. It wasn't stressful. But today, our government are not employing. In a case we have vacancy of 5,000, they say, government has employed 1,000 teachers. What of the winning balance of 3,000? So it is true. Teachers are not enough. So we appeal to government to employ teachers in various schools. You know, we have rural areas. Look at free education program of the Chief of Africa that produce so many professors, accountants, engineers. These people are from the villages. In those days, they provided what they needed into various schools. So that presently it's not more like that, because our government is not employing the number of teachers that used to teach in our various schools. It is true. It's part of the challenges we are facing. It's part of the challenge, and the various government knew that. They know that various governments understand this. Hello.
All right, we are together. Comrade, let me quickly ask you this. You have been in the business, you know, you have been in administration level. You are former chairman of the NUT, that's Nigerian Union of Teachers in the state. Can you tell us in concrete terms what are, yes, we have shortages of teachers across schools, very obvious. Your national president has said that, UBEC figures have shown that as well. What are these issues, you know, bedeviling the teaching profession in Nigeria? And I'm asking you carefully because, of course, you said we have many persons that are very qualified. Yes. And yet we have some that possibly when you interface with them, when you interact with them, you want to wonder what got them to that job. They are not motivated. Some of them are quite edgy when they teach. Some of them doesn't even have the substance, especially when you look at some of the ones being hired by private schools and some public schools as well. So what are these issues? I think you are the right person to tell us this morning. What are those challenges that teachers are facing, especially this teaching profession?
Thank you very much. We have been able to highlight some of them. The first challenges is this inadequate number of teachers in our various schools. Some states, teachers were not remunerated like other disciplines. In some states, equipment were not supplied to schools. In those days, look at our laboratories. We have library in those days. In our school today, no more library. Maybe because of this scientific era, where children just Google, let me know the meaning of this. You know, we read in libraries, no more library. There is no motivation to teachers, like in other professions. Training of teachers. We talk of training. We are not already. They're supposed to go for training and be remunerated accordingly. Not that you just put them in a class and say, blah, 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 you have trained teachers. So, the community itself should contribute immensely to the progress of the school within the environment. So, and the government should make adequate provision of a material to be used in school. We have so many things. Some schools teach their practicals on the board, not practically. In those days, we sat in the laboratory and the directors take so, what's the result? We raise up our hand, we take result. Those things are no more there. That's why I normally really appreciate our students. Still, they are trying. They are trying. So you want to appeal to government to employ more teachers. We want to appeal to government to remunerate teachers adequately. We want to appeal to our community to join with the government to build schools within the environment. So we want to even appeal to parents. You know, the kind of parents, some of our kind of parents these days don't have time for their children again. So it is the school that still goes and invite parents on their walls. So parents should also take positive action towards their children in schools. Thank you. For instance, there's a program they call Open Day now, where parents will come to know the progress of their students in school. Majority of the parents don't come and say what is happening to my student. Some students will leave home, they will not get to school. So these are some of the challenges that can improve our educational system. So public teachers are trying their best, because you said the other time that teachers' awards is a level. No, because we deal with human beings. I want to see their future. To be bright, we want to see their future, so that in the future we see them. Where are you now? I told you. Where are you now? I'm at Unilag. That is the joy of a teacher. So that is why I'm saying teachers in public school, they are trying their best. So if all these things are collated, you will see you will see the end result of the output.
All right. All right, come.
So those are the challenges and those are the motivational things. We suppose that if all these ingredients are there will be improvement in our educational system.
All
right, comrade, thank you for that. You have been able to actually enumerate some factors that pose as challenges to the teaching profession as of today, and you mentioned inadequate manpower, underfunding, issue of poor remuneration, and lack of motivation, and also no proper training and retraining for teachers. There are some arguments in some quarters, you know, especially for public schools. We know they run free education, even though we know that nowadays the free is not totally free, because the students sometimes have to pay for books, have to pay for some certain levies in schools. But there is an argument in some certain quarters that say that for public schools to actually get to the level where some private schools are, they should be made to, the students should be made to pay. It may not be as much as what the private schools pay, but they should be made to pay something, an amount of money that the government can actually add to, maybe let's say subsidized education for our public schools. Do you also share in that view?
Thanks very much. I've said it earlier that government cannot do it alone.
Okay.
We have free education. I want to say one thing, I want to compare one thing. When Awolowo had a some free education, the population was not like this. I want to tell you, my father was a teacher. He was a headmaster. I met all this free education textbook. There is no way the government can do it alone. Even in America, we have so many foundations that contribute to educational development of their words. The government will say education is free, but they cannot provide everything. That's why we have parent teachers association. Understand? It is this body that supplements what government does. We have all students association. In my school as a principal, some students just came one day. What are the challenges? What do you want us to do? I told them, CBT is now saying that there will be CBT. These students should be able to learn it before they go for JAM. They make provision for laptop. They make provision for desktop for us. Those are the contributions. The government cannot do it alone. The parents can assist the schools. We have been seeing all students helping the school, PTA contributing their own quota to supplement government efforts. So these are the things.
Comrade,
because
aside
government
this,
cannot
Comrade, please allow me.
The educational program cannot be raised upon only government alone.
All right, Comrade.
To make
Please allow me at this point. Aside the interventions from the PTA, from the old student association, like you pointed out earlier, I mean, some people are clamoring for schools. All schools generally in Nigeria, whether public or private, should be made to pay fees. I mean, school fees, tuition fees. If you want to send your child to school, then you should be you should be willing to let go of something to give your child a sound education. Do you share that view? That's what I'm talking about, sir.
What I'm saying, fingers are not equal. If you come to the grassroots, you will discover that some parents could not even afford what government or what PTA decide to pay. So that's why there is free education in some of our, let me say, in some Western states. You know the number of population. The population is going high every day. So if we say they should pay, that everything should not be free. Although they say free education, but still students pay some levies in order to run the school.
Yes.
That's why I told you the other time that with this lack of adequate number of teachers, the PTA still get teachers for the school. Old students still get teachers for the school. Even individual, they still get teachers for the school that they pay them. So in the light of this, there should be free education.
All right.
And assisted by all those areas that I mentioned the other time. Because we have some parents that do not even have 1,000 to be paid on behalf of their children in various schools. So that's my submission.
All right. Lastly, before I pass it on to Femi at this time, still on this matter, like you said, all fingers are not equal. For parents that are really, they refer to them as the poorest of the poor. I mean, that's what they call them right now, the indigent ones. Can't we have scholarship? But their children should be fully, funded by scholarship schemes, maybe by the government or by the PTA or by the Old Students Association, while those who can afford it be made to pay. That speaks to what you said about all fingers are not equal. If all fingers are not equal, then those people that can pay the money should not be in the same category as those that cannot even afford 1,000 naira, like you said earlier.
My dear sister, you are not at the grassroots.
Okay.
If you are at the grassroots, you even help some students. The scholarship we are talking about, how many students with scholarship cover? We do have scholarship. You see, I said individual, even individual.
Okay.
In school, I know somebody that is paying for 20 students. Just a person. You don't pay for 20, like every time. So you do it yearly. You will just bring its own money, and they do for 20 students, for indigents, not just any student though.
Exactly.
Yeah, for teachers know them. But this is very minute. How many of them that scholarship will cover? That's why we are agitating for free education, and government should respond positively to demands of the school.
All right.
That's why saving guys are not to go.
All right, comrade, 2 or 3 quick questions as we take it home right now. Many have argued to say the Montessori of education, the plan, the policy that we have in this nation, and that it needs to be tweaked a bit, it needs to be revisited, that the world is going very fastly, and they are moving in the direction that in which our nation is still dragging to meet, and that our education should be tailored towards solving issues, solving problems, not just the fact that we want to be literate, not just that we want to go to school and be educated, that there should be a national policy from, that envisions solving of problem, that this is what is done, what over, from the pre-primary to primary to the secondary and the tertiary institutions, that what we have right now is not commensurate with what obtains globally, that we are a bit far. Do you share that thought as well?
Thank you very much. During colonization, look at what they give to us. Post-colonization, we stand on what they give to us. Are you getting my point?
What did they give to us?
The practicals we are talking about now was not the one given to us. The British that colonized us did not expose us to various to all these areas that can make a student to be self-employed. It is now that the explosion in our population that now causes unemployment, making us to realize that, okay, if we go this way, it will be better for us. So that everybody is self-employed without leaning on government job, white-collar job alone. So what I'm trying to say, there should be a standard curriculum that will expose our children to go for practicals, to do practical in school, so that when they finish their education, they will not only look for white-collar job. We have been agitating this. But let me tell you, we have government will say, okay, 634. We go to technical school, we go to this, we go to that. Do we have that instrument in our technical schools? Do Do we have those instruments in our high schools? So government should also gel towards this.
All right. All right.
So I agree with you that we should change our curriculum to reflect practicals in school.
All right. Comrade, yes, because of time, let me quickly make, because I still have like 2 questions for you. And you made mention that pre-independence, they, maybe the British, gave us, these are your words, something different. And after they left, they gave to us, or as they were leaving, something different. But one would want to say, and I put it to you this morning, isn't that too convenient, you know, of an argument? Because what we say 63 years down the line, are we not ripe as a nation to have come to the table to give to ourselves what works for us? Something into the future that we see, something that will benefit us as a people. The British has left, or officially, at least since 1960. Since 2023. We are still blaming them. Isn't that too convenient?
Thank you. It's our leaders. It's our leaders. Let our leaders be focused. In 1973, also in the old state, but like you introduced technical schools, even you imported different machines. After he left, the program was dropped. It was dropped. So there is no continuity in government. So when they want to face, okay, we want to face some technical things for our students, let the successful government follow the suit of what is on ground. Go to various schools, no more that all those things in our schools in Osun State or in other states. That's why I said what they gave us and what our leaders inherited. So it depends on our leaders. All
right. All right. Comrade Amuda, Nigeria has the highest out-of-school rate in the world, with over 18 million, talking about the percentage to our population, 18 million out-of-school children. Now, 10 million out of these children are girls. Now, why 3.3 million students drop out before JSS1? That's quite deep. According to UNICEF data, that was last year in June 2022. And you know, because of the security situation in most northern states now, the abductions, one will expect naturally that the figure will have even worsened. Now, UNESCO put Nigeria's out-of-school children population at 20 million earlier, before that time. Now, insecurity also poses a threat. I've said that in Northwest, in Northeast, Southeast, and the federal and state government, you know, have been advised to please up the ante. Now, I put it to you, and please tell us, comrade, what danger does this portend to have 18 to 20 million of our children on the street without education?
Yeah. It imposes a real danger, a serious one. And in some areas now, you have mentioned it, what causes the dropouts? Insecurity first. An area, you see, when I watch television, I see some IDPs with different children, where they sleep, where they eat. I used to lament, how will these people survive? Insecurity is a great threat to education. Insecurity is a great threat. Is a great threat to our existence. Insecurity is a great threat to our future. That's part of it. And if you look at that figure, when they split it, it affects certain areas than others. For instance, it affects the northern parents. Go to the south, we have insecurity there, political instability. Look at an area where students are writing WAEC and the kid students, and they said they should go back because of insecurity. So insecurity played a very vital role.
All right.
Number two, attitude of our parents. Then the economy played a very significant role. If we have a very robust economy, no parent will allow his or ours to go to garages to go and make for money, or to take a saucepan to go and beg for food.
All right.
So our own government should adequately look into what should be supplied to our schools.
All right, comrade. We are out of time, so we'd just like to end this conversation at this time. So we appreciate you, Comrade Wakil Alade-Amuda, who is the former chairman, Nigeria Union of Teachers, NUT Osun State chapter.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming on board on Morning Spring for today.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
All right.
Merry Christmas in advance.
Merry Christmas to you. Thank you for your kind wishes.
Thank
you. Hello.
All right, sir. Thank you for your kind wishes. Merry Christmas to you too.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right. Okay, and that's where we end the conversation for today, and it has been a very great one with Comrade Amuda there, speaking to issues and challenges bedeviling the teaching profession. And like he stated earlier, that no nation thrives without the teachers. The teachers builds the nation, and I think it's high time that our government and also we as a nation pay so much attention to the teaching profession, because
that's right.
What they give to our students is what they give back to the society.
Exactly.
So it's like a chain, a cycle.
Half-baked professionals, we give half-baked service to the community. One, I think there was a particular story of somebody saying, if you want to really run down any nation or exterminate them, just mess with the education, and in the next few years they will self-destruct themselves, because the quality of doctors will be very low, the quality of teachers themselves, professionals at every angle, and then you have subpar and standard service, and such a population will really suffer after that. We hope we don't go that route, so that we just don't pay lip service to education, because no nation thrives beyond the level of his education.
And that's it.
He's so clean and clear, and especially when you're talking about the formative years, the pre-primary, primary, and the secondary, even before talking about the tertiary institutions, that's very key. So it's on that note that we pull the brakes today. We talked about education, the decline in the teaching profession, and then the comrade helped us with that. By the way, we'll be here tomorrow, God willing, return same time. Please do follow us once again on our social media platforms, on X, on Facebook, and on Instagram, and of course on our YouTube channel, in which we are live right now. And then you can have a recap of this program and many more programs coming from the station of yours, Western Spring Television, where we say it as it is. Femi Ojo is my name. Have for yourself a very rewarding day. By the way, the Unitard is there, and let me just tell somebody, no key yourself. Unitard will come and go.
Do what you can and leave the rest for God. Just ensure to have fun in your own capacity, in your own way, in your own standard. You don't have to live by the standard of another person. You don't have to, do too much. And in January, you are left with debts.
I just usually hear January can be very long.
It comes with like 60-something days. Like that's what they say.
All right.
Well, I am Evelyn Ohiola. Thank you for your time. We'll make a return tomorrow. Until then, have for yourself a good and productive day. Bye-bye.
Bye.